You're doing everything right. You choke down the protein shakes. You add chicken to every meal. You've read that protein is the key to muscle after 60. So you've made it your mission. And still, you look in the mirror and see the same soft arms, the same thinning frame. You still struggle with the jar lid, the grocery bags, the stairs. So you assume you're not eating enough protein. You buy more, bigger shakes, another scoop, and nothing changes. Because here's the truth almost nobody tells you. After 60, protein is not what builds your muscle. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying protein doesn't matter. It absolutely does, and I'll show you exactly where it fits. But protein is not the thing doing the building. It's the raw material, and raw material, with no one to build with it, just sits there or gets burned for energy and lost. There is one specific thing that actually triggers your body to turn that protein into muscle, and it's the thing most people over 60 are completely missing. Miss it, and you can drink protein all day and stay exactly the same. Add it, and your muscle can grow, genuinely grow, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Let me prove that to you first, then show you exactly what it is and how to do it. Because if I just told you your muscle can still grow at any age, you'd probably roll your eyes. So let me show you instead. Researchers went into a nursing home and worked with frail residents, not 60-year-olds. People with an average age around 90. Some used canes. Some used walkers. Exactly the people everyone assumes are long past the point of building anything. For a couple of months, a few times a week, these 90-year-olds did real resistance training. Actual weight, actual effort, not gentle stretching, real load. And their strength didn't just improve, it climbed dramatically. The kind of gains that look like a typo. Their muscle, the actual tissue, grew. In their 90s. That's the proof that matters. If frail 90-year-olds can build muscle, so can you. The capacity never left. What was missing was the right signal. So let me show you how muscle actually gets built, because once you see it, everything clicks. Your muscle is not a fixed thing. Every single day, it's being built up and broken down at the same time, constantly. Whether you gain, lose, or stay the same depends on which side wins, building versus breakdown. To tip it toward building, your body needs two completely different things. And this is the part everyone gets wrong. It needs raw material, that's the protein, the amino acids, the bricks. And it needs a signal, a reason to actually pick up those bricks and build. Something that says, we need this muscle bigger and stronger. Here's the key. Material without a signal builds nothing. If your body has no reason to build, the protein just gets used for energy or cleared away. You can deliver a truckload of bricks to an empty lot. Without a construction crew and a blueprint, you don't get a building. You get a pile of bricks. So what is the signal? What actually tells your body to build muscle? It's mechanical tension challenging your muscles against real resistance. When you make a muscle work hard against a load lifting something genuinely heavy for you, it creates tiny stresses in the fibers. Your body reads that stress as a message. This muscle isn't strong enough for what's being asked of it. Build it back bigger. That is the signal. That's the construction crew showing up. And only then does your body reach for the protein and actually build. Now, here's why this matters so much more after 60. As you age, your muscle becomes less responsive to that building signal. Scientists call it anabolic resistance. In a younger body, a little protein and a little activity trigger plenty of building. The signal is easy to send. In an older body, the same protein and the same light activity produce almost nothing. The threshold has moved. This is the cruel trap. The very time you need to send the building signal louder is the time most people send it softer or stop sending it at all. Life gets gentler. You lift less. You challenge your muscles less. And without a strong mechanical signal, the muscle quietly shrinks year after year. This muscle loss even has a name, sarcopenia. And it's behind a huge amount of the frailty, the falls, and the lost independence of later life. But remember the 90-year-olds. Anabolic resistance makes the signal harder to send. It does not make it impossible. You just have to send it clearly, on purpose. So here's what actually builds muscle after 60. The thing that really works. Resistance training. Challenging your muscles against a load regularly. This is the single most powerful thing you can do for aging muscle. Nothing else, no supplement, no shake, no gadget comes close. And it does something protein alone can never do. It resensitizes your muscle to protein. Training actually lowers your anabolic resistance. So resistance training isn't just the signal. It also makes the material work better. It fixes both halves of the equation at once. Now, resistance training does not mean you have to become a bodybuilder or join a hardcore gym. It means working your major muscles against meaningful resistance, dumbbells, resistance bands, or even just your own body weight. Sit-to stands from a chair, wall push-ups, step-ups. For a true beginner, these genuinely build muscle. But here is the one principle that makes or breaks everything. Progressive overload. It means the challenge has to keep increasing over time. A little more weight, a few more reps, a slower, harder tempo. If it never gets harder, your body has no reason to keep building. A muscle doing the exact same easy thing month after month gets no signal. The overload, this is harder than last time, is the signal. 2 to 3 sessions a week, hitting your major muscle groups, always nudging the difficulty up. That's the engine of muscle after 60. So now, where does protein actually fit? Because it does matter. I promised I'd show you. Once you're sending the building signal with training, then protein becomes essential. Now your body has a reason to use it, and it needs enough material to finish the job. And because of anabolic resistance, older adults actually need more protein than younger ones, both in total and in each meal. The research points to a solid dose of protein per meal to clear that higher threshold, roughly a palm-sized serving of meat, fish, eggs, dairy, or a good scoop of protein. And spread it across the day, a good hit at each meal, rather than almost none at breakfast and a huge pile at dinner. So protein is important. But notice the order. Training is the trigger. Protein is what the trigger uses. Protein without training builds almost nothing. Training with too little protein is running a construction crew with no bricks. You need both, but the one you've been missing, the one that actually flips the switch, is the training. 2 more pieces round it out. First, recovery. Muscle is built between sessions, not during them, and older bodies need a bit more rest to rebuild. Sleep matters here more than people think. Second, consistency over months, not weeks. Muscle after 60 is built slowly and quietly. You won't see it in 10 days, but in 3 months you'll feel it. On the stairs, with the groceries, out of a low chair. And one well-studied helper worth mentioning. Creatine, a simple, cheap supplement paired with resistance training, has been shown to modestly improve strength and muscle gains in older adults. But creatine is a small bonus on top of the foundation. The foundation is always the training, plus enough protein to support it. Now, the honest and important part. If you're over 60 and new to this, or you have heart problems, joint issues, or any medical condition, talk to your doctor before starting a resistance program. Start light, focus on good form over heavy weight, and consider a few sessions with a trainer or physical therapist to learn the movements safely. Done right, resistance training is remarkably safe and one of the best things you can do for your body. Done carelessly, you can get hurt. So ramp up gradually. Nothing here is medical advice, but the direction is about as well established as anything in health. Challenge your muscles, feed them enough, and they respond at any age. So, let's go back to that mirror and those protein shakes that weren't working. They weren't working because they were never the answer on their own. You were delivering bricks to a site with no crew and no blueprint. The crew is the training. The blueprint is progressive overload, a little harder every time. The bricks are the protein necessary, but only once the crew shows up. Protein isn't what builds your muscle after 60. It's what your muscle builds with once you finally give it a reason to build. Send the signal, challenge the muscle, feed it enough, and watch a body everyone told you was too old do exactly what those 90-year-olds did. The capacity was never gone. You were just missing the one thing that switches it on. And now you know exactly what that is.